Dearest, gentle listeners, you are listening to the Ladies Bridgerton, the talk of the ton. We are your effervescent hosts, your neighborhood-friendly Kiwi Tash from Middle Earth, New Zealand.
And Patty, Regency romance enthusiast, currently writing her strong, confident, intelligent, independent, and dependable.
Settle down onto your favorite Christmas Santa lap as we delve into the lives of the elite and illustrious ladies, lords, and royalty of the ton. This Bridgerton podcast is two friends talking romance, symbolism, Easter eggs, and deep, deep bells, diving all the way into the
Technically, New Year.
into the connections of our favorite characters. We cover both book, TV series, and notable social media, and therefore will contain spoilers. It is still officially Christmas time. This will be dropping around New Year's time. Therefore, to me, it is still Christmas era to me. Christmas runs in my mind from November through to like mid-January. That's Christmas time to me.
Yeah, I do Christmas past New Year's because there's a superstition / old wives' tale / whatever that don't take down all your Christmas cheer before at least because it's bad luck. So
ask my mum what the deal was for me putting my Christmas tree up at her house last year.
She was like, it better come down at 12:01.
Mum said as long as it's done by January 31st, I'm good.
January 31st?
Yeah. She didn't specify what year. Have I taken it down yet? No. It has been up for 13 months at this point.
Wow.
Soz mum. It's been a busy year.
Mm-hmm.
To be fair, I get like not even a handful of days of the year that I actually have nothing to do. And those handful days of the year are usually because I'm sick or something has been cancelled and I'm burnt out and just need to, like Saturday, I had a wallow day. Okay, purple, she says with a mouthful, sorry. Pod snacks.
Pod snacks. I just ate the last bite of my dinner from earlier, which was Kay's fiance dude made enchiladas. It was enchilada filling. So basically all I had left on the plate was rice and beans, really. Mm-hmm. And I just finished that off with a couple of chips. And my pod snacks this time around, I have the remaining graham crackers from me making a Claire cake I'm going to munch on. I was unable to get my soda, was sold out at the store.
Rude.
So Kay and Dude left some of theirs, even though it's full sugar. It's still good. It's Canada Dry, and I'm not sponsored, but the cranberry ginger ale.
Ah, is that the cranberry she was saying she was leaving behind? I thought
Yes.
She meant like cranberry sauce or something.
It would have been cranberry sauce. That would have been my pod snack. I eat jelly cranberry sauce. Like it's okay. Like seriously, I would have already been eating that. And then I made myself some calm for a drink as well, so that hopefully I can sleep sans pain med because my leg has been hurting. It feels okay today, but every night when it feels okay, I struggle to sleep, but I don't want to be still having to take the pain med because I don't want to deal with taking the pain meds. I haven't really said this out loud on the pod yet, I think, but I was gifted a cruise for Christmas from my friend, and I don't want to deal with medications and, they're in my name, but I was supposed to take them within the first 7 days of being prescribed, and I'm not that kind of girl. So I don't like taking them. I take them only when I have to. Yeah. So I've had to like the last few nights. I really just don't want to have to take them with me. Yeah. I'd like to be able to leave them at home.
I very much understand that. Pain meds make me feel sick. So I'd avoid them like the plague if I can.
Well, these ones, it takes me a long time to sleep off a pain med. So like today I woke up feeling hungover because they helped me sleep, but I was still in enough pain that like when I needed to roll over, I woke up, and Kay and Do stayed the night. So their dog was here. Their dog excited my dogs. My dogs excited their dog. So there was a couple of wake up times.
A lot of excitement.
Yeah. So when I woke up, I had to get up at this time, and I was headachy and I kind of felt hungover because I didn't get to sleep it off. So I'm gonna try and go to bed tonight without it. We'll see how my leg does. But I'm trying everything else. Like I have Calm, which is, magnesium, sleepy stuff, ashwagandha, and then I have melatonin I can take if I need to. Like I'm gonna try and do everything but.
Yeah. I think just listen to your body and kind of go from there. We were
the only Bridgerton. Yeah, the only Bridgerton news we didn't talk about in the last pod, and we can bring it up here, is that Nicola Coughlan also had an article out. Hers was in The Guardian, though, and it was a beautiful photo spread. I don't know if you've seen the photos.
I think I've seen one of the photos. I think it was posted to her Instagram.
Yeah, gorgeous photo spread. Beautiful article because she currently is doing that play. The Playboy of the Western World or whatever it's called. So she's currently doing that. So she's in The Guardian. And basically the only thing I've seen highlighted that she spoke about Bridgerton at all is stating that she's not a body positive activist, which she does use her platform for good. So, and I can understand it's not something she's passionate about. So I'm not going to be one of those people like, how people are like, you have celebrity, you need to take up every cause there is.
I really hate that sentiment that people have to, just because of their platform, do a certain thing or say a certain thing, when if I don't know a subject, I'm not going to speak on it,
And but what I'll say in her favor, because her quote says, I am not a body positive activist. I am an actor. I will gain or lose weight for a role if it is expected of me or warranted, right? I can't remember the exact wording, so sorry, Nicola Coughlan, for botching your quote. Yeah. But what I like about her career choices, because ultimately actors do choose their projects at a certain point. She definitely is making enough money that she can choose her projects.
I feel like she's really diversifying her roles.
Yes, but she's also choosing progress where her body doesn't matter.
Yes, like she played a bipolar writer. She's played Penelope Featherington, who's a not bipolar writer, a non-bipolar writer. Her mum, but she's played a debutante. She's played a bipolar writer. She has played the most manic of schoolgirls. Manic schoolgirl lesbian.
In her 30s, she played a high teenager.
Yes. And then the faraway tree, she's going to play a fairy.
A fairy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So like she really is diversifying. And then you also said that she's doing a play right now, which I'm not entirely sure.
She's doing a play right now. Yeah, it's actually
her role is in that.
She's acting with the actress who was the head nun of her school in Derry Girls. Which
I loved her.
I can't remember your name, but
yeah,
they're working together again.
Let me consult the Bible.
She also did a voice for a cartoon called The Goat. That's like Steph Curry vehicle.
Yes, yeah.
So there's that. Like she's done a ton of stuff. You know what should be coming out that I haven't heard anything about? That cartoon that Luke Newton did. Said it was going to come out Christmas of 2025.
Siobhan McSweeney, Sister Michael.
Yeah, Sister Michael.
Yeah. Siobhan McSweeney. Oh, I see. They don't put plays on IMDb.
No, IMDb is
movies. Movies and TV? Sorry,
filmography
and video games. Yeah,
because it's digital.
Yeah, that makes sense. I have no pod snacks. I have double caffeinated myself today, and my tummy is feeling it. R.I.P. our listeners.
What? No. It's gone. It's off of his IMDb. Oh wait, here's upcoming. Here we go. Oh, it got pushed.
What is
Diana, the Legend of the Golden Heart. It was originally going to come out Christmas of 2025. I remember that, but now it's saying 2026.
I've seen a lot of people like pushing for Jonathan Bailey to be Flynn Rider, and I'm like, no, that is very solidly Luke Newton's role. People.
There's other people that they're saying should be too.
I know, but they're too young. Flynn Rider to me seemed like a little bit more mature than some of the other princes and leading men of Disney princessy films.
Yes, more jaded too. So
yeah, like more like an Aladdin type, Prince of Thieves.
He was like Aladdin, but like
I don't want to see anyone under 25 playing that role, because under 25 you're not you're still a boy.
Yeah.
To me, even though Timothy Chalamet to me still looks boy.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Same as what's his name? Peter Jackson? Percy Jackson, sorry. Perks of Being a Wallflower.
Oh yeah, what's his name?
I know it.
He
I
always
don't know
looks
it.
young.
He always looks young. So yeah, I want
So does Tom Holland though too. Like
Tom, yeah, very much Tom Holland as well. Oh no, I hit trouble.
Oh no.
And make it double, except he's only one kid, but he's got double the energy. Yes, that was a Pokemon reference, for those in the know. Okay, we better make haste into today's episode. 3 seconds in and my child is gonna make it chaotic.
Hold on, we're making haste. I haven't even done the intro. Dearest listeners, it is another Penelopean episode. Eloise seeks out Colin for repair, only to be blindsided by his possible knowledge. What does he know? She shows herself to be Violet's daughter, telling the truth by semantics only, riddles, and quiet panic. Eloise then seeks Penelope, also, I think, for repair, only to continue her typical take charge ways, and gave Penelope advice that goes against Pen's better judgment that future Pen loses a wedding night over. Because Pen says after this issue, I will tell him, and Eloise is like, no. And then she goes, because it will destroy Colin. And Pen even still says, but we'll get there. Pen wanted to tell him. So to me, our podcast episode today is a lesson on why you should not trust Eloise or her advice.
Sarah's going to love this episode because it's just a lot of dunking on Eloise and her crappy behavior.
Sorrows, prayers, Eloise. Coming for you today.
And don't get me wrong. I am still a fan of Eloise. I think just like our friendships in real life, there will be times in which the way that your friends are comporting yourself does not align. But over a 20-year, 30-year, 40-year period of friendship, things aren't always going to be perfect. And sometimes they will do things that you do not like. But if the connection is deep enough, if it's real enough, if their underlying morals still align, you can repair. So my angst towards Eloise at the moment is hopefully not a permanent affair, but just a blip in the friendship.
Well, and for me, a little bit more long in the tooth you are. Friendship, Eloise, I'm going to speak open letter to Eloise right now. Friendship is not expecting people to do what you want them to do. They're their own human and they're going to do their own thing. So sometimes we're going to watch our friends do something we would not do, or we think we would not do, because sometimes you haven't had that exact experience. And then you find if you do have it, you did the exact same thing.
You mean like every person before they have a kid and they watch their friends raise kids and they're like, I would never do that. And then they eat their own words.
Oh, Patty's karma is straight up in terms of abusive relationships. Like, how are you staying in this? Why are you staying in this? And then I lived. So that was the moment I had to eat humble pie. But a lot of times we don't know what it's like until we live through it ourselves. And Eloise has zero life experience at this. And she really does expect her friend to do what she wants to be done. That's, think the way I think, do the way I do. And it's very much an immature version of friendship. Eloise has to grow to be a good friend. That is why we're seeing her being so icky right now, because she's still expecting childish friendships when all of her friends are growing up around. She very much is Josephine Mark from Little Women. So I think
she's Peter Panning it up.
I think that Eloise and Pen are tried and true because Penelope is very forgiving. She understands that she can't control everything. She can only control herself and protect herself, save herself, whatever. And Eloise will learn that people are going to do things that you don't agree with, but that doesn't make them a bad person.
Yes.
Because my issue with her friendship with Cressida is how quickly she drops her when she kind of caused
and
that whole situation.
That's
part of this episode, I know.
The fact that she tries to would you like to rephrase that one?
Listen, Mommy. So that's a bus acid maple.
There's lots of you want the ant poison.
Yeah.
You would have to ask Daddy that one. Daddy can put some new stuff out tonight. but it does look like it's going to rain, so it wouldn't be very effective. The ants inside or just outside? Inside. On our dining table. On our little people. Yeah. Inside. We will get more ant bait. Just not right now. This is why
he's doing so good because I even understood what he was saying.
Yeah, and that's why sometimes I'm like, okay, if I can't understand him and I just ask him to repeat the same thing, you're going to get the same thing, and he's going to get frustrated that
and
you're
he'll
not
get
understanding.
Frustrated, yeah.
So I'm like, can you give me context clues? Like, give me something to work with here. But he's actually doing really, really well with his speech improving. We've been working.
Now I
with
did at first. I thought table was couple.
Yeah,
because it sounded similar, but then yeah. But I mean, he's doing so well.
I love his kindy. The fact that I have conversations with the teachers about what I would like them to work on with him to reflect, you know, how we are improving the speech or getting him to clarify, you know, more difficult words like that. A shirt in here. Oh, it's funny.
No, because I absolutely understand what it's like when my son came to live with us at 14 because he was so severely neglected as a child.
Yes.
And then kind of fell through the cracks in the foster care system. He had such a severe speech impediment,
which I would never pick now.
I learned his language first. I was his voice because I was the only person that truly understood what he was saying. And that's his lot.
His teachers are really lovely. So they will say, you know, okay, what speech stuff would you like us to work on with him? What social, emotional, and, you know, we work together to sit down and work on. And they're like, you know, so often with other parents, we'll just get, we want him to be toilet trained. You know, we want him to know how to tie his shoelaces. Like, it's all very kind of surface level. Whereas me having the background in teaching, they're like, we love it. Like, you come in, you give us exact instructions. And I said to them, like, you know, I want him to work on repeating. We don't hit ants because that smushes them. And they release a certain smell, which tells all their friends, hey, I was here. And then all of his friends come and they look for him. And then they all come inside. We don't squish them because that makes more ants. I just told you, they release a smell when you squish them. And that tells all the other ants, come here and help me. It's like he's yelling out, help, help. Voicimo, voicimo. Why? Because he doesn't want to be squished. So he sends out a smell.
Because they're very small. They're very small. And
his best.
So he gets his friends to come help him.
It's because he's very small.
You already smashed the ant. That's not very helpful. No.
You got to clean it up with something extra.
Vinegar. You should like to take a small time with Bubble. Mummy's, I'm going to pretend I'm not. Okay, well, I think we're just going to pause for a minute because I think he'd like some attention. Yeah.
Why?
All right. I have my child sufficiently entertained for hopefully the next 20 minutes before my dad gets back to continue watching him. So this episode we are starting out by talking about Colin and Eloise. This is straight after the drawing room scene where Colin obviously gives Eloise the cut. And Colin is in his study furiously writing to find his purpose for P.
Yeah, and I think it's important to note he is editing, right? And how much is crossed out and how much is rewritten. He's very critical of himself.
Really, yeah.
I think that looking at the small things like this, and sure, it's just a show. They handed him some papers. How many times did they do this scene? Maybe all of these corrections are because he starts the scene and they had quite a few takes. But in the trajectory of Colin in this season, because of coming from finding his purpose to actually finding a purpose, but feeling like he doesn't deserve it.
Yeah.
This shows how self-critical he is. There's so much crossed out. He's crossing out a big whole line of something to write just a couple of words before she comes in. Like,
well, because I think it is very different when you're writing something for yourself to writing for someone else's eyes as well. So that will require, like, if he wrote this in the first place, a butterfly outside, I see. A butterfly moth, is it the white one? Okay, it'll be okay. All Mummy's lettuces are hidden under a cover. They can't eat them. I snorted when Eloise comes into the room and like, come on, Eloise. Are you moping about the chocolate macaroon? Even though she knows damn well that he wasn't even part of that fight. She was stretching, trying to break the ice with something so insignificant because she doesn't know how to broach the truth. Because what even is the truth as he thinks he knows it?
Well, and that's the thing, like her talking about the last macaron is her in.
Yes.
She is a person, she is avoidant of accountability. She is avoidant of repair. She doesn't know how to repair. She doesn't know how to start the conversation, right? Because she's got to start the conversation so he talks, but she's afraid of starting the conversation in a certain way because what does he know? She knows he'd been to see Penelope. She knows Penelope is supposed to tell him things. She doesn't know if Penelope did, so she has to be very careful. So she chooses something super innocuous. But I also think because she chose something she could tease him about, she's faking close connection when she doesn't feel connected at all.
Yeah.
Like she's being like almost passive aggressive.
I think what it is a reminder almost that we are part of the same family and you have to love me. Like we are siblings. Our siblings were all fighting over something, but it's not really important. Remember that thing that was like lighthearted that we were all fighting over? Nothing's
it's
really
like,
that important.
I think you're mad. I'm going to acknowledge I think you're mad. I believe you're mad at me, but I don't want to say that out loud. So I'm going to pick something the whole family was arguing about just a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
Or earlier today.
Chicken. And Colin's like, I'm not having any of that. And jumps straight in with did you know she was Lady Whistledown? And Eloise thinks for a second that Penelope has finally actually admitted to the truth. But no.
Eloise Hart, for anyone, all of our Ohio listeners who remember the demon drop from Cedar Point, Eloise Hart drops. It doesn't go up in her throat. It drops clear to her toes. The look on her face is seriously like Bridget Jones when she got talking to...
And for the Aussies out there, it's the giant drop.
Yeah, she totally looked like Bridget Jones when she got caught talking to a dead author on the phone, when she's really talking to her friend and she pretended she was talking to an important author and the guy's dead.
That's
right?
So funny.
So she's like, busted. Although it said something very different across the screen on Bridget Jones, but
I really need to rewatch that. I haven't actually watched that in probably a good 10 years.
It's one of my staples. I watch it all the time.
So Eloise denies that she knew anything about Cressida. It's like, Tosh, come on, you know better.
And she dances because she's like, not about
She's
Cressida.
doing the dance. She's definitely doing the tango with the truth here.
Because he said, did you know she was Whistledown? It could go either way. So she's got to have that Samantha. She's got to have that out later when he says, you lied to me. And she's like, no, I didn't.
4:30. Is it 4:35 my time? It is 35?
10:35 here, so I'm going to go with yes.
Cool. I can only see the 4, clearly. So I'm like, Ezra's got my phone, so I can't hit the timer, so I'm trying to guess them here.
Yes, 4:35. I went to my world clock.
Thank you. You're also in my... I know, actually, you're not in my world clock because I don't... You know how Apple doesn't have... What like...
Eastern time zone. Just put in Cleveland.
Cleveland, thank you.
I don't have Christchurch. My world clock won't let me put in Christchurch.
No,
I have Wellington.
I don't either. It's Wellington, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, what is your time zone for?
Yeah, just put Cleveland, Ohio. It'll be...
Yeah, okay.
Actually, you can do any of the major Ohio cities.
But the time clock is really funny when you try to search up specifics, like unless you get the exact one that you're looking for, it doesn't give you like near options, which it really... So Eloise then states that the friendship was already souring, but this caper may be the final straw, as if she has anyone to blame but herself for the way that the friendship was going. Like, that sentence truly sounds like she is passing the buck yet again, instead of assuming any sort of responsibility for being a terrible friend yet again. Like,
here, this one's for you, Sarah. This is the most narcissistic sentence that has come out of Eloise's mouth.
Oh, I don't even feel like it is.
No, because
it gets so much worse later on.
She says the relationship was already starting to sour. If it was already starting to sour, why did you... Cressida felt like she was invited to that engagement party. I'm
confused because capers don't sour things. They make them like umami.
Yeah, but a caper is also somebody doing trickery. Like,
I was like, that's an interesting term.
Yeah, a caper is somebody, because there's a lot of mystery books will be the something caper.
You can
an escapator.
You can also skip or dance about in a lively or playful way. A
It's
playful skipping movement.
Kid, one more.
An illicit or ridiculous activity or escapade.
Yes, that one.
It'll be that one, the caper, this ridiculous escapade of her claiming to be Lady Whistledown. That makes sense. Okay.
But Cressida was, as desperate as Cressida was, she went to the smartest person she knew for help. And because Eloise was so preoccupied and actually said, I don't have time for this, like basically go away from me if this is all you have to talk about, she ends up sitting around a group of other people who speculate, and she impulsively does this. I don't think she thought it through. We know she didn't.
So Eloise has gone from, in previous seasons, and this is she has judged the pants off of Colin for his sudden change in personality this season to being someone so fake, right? I'd prefer someone be fake like Colin than vapid like Eloise, who has gone from being a women's rights, women's movement. I want to have a say. I want to be able to do what the boys do. I want women to be more and have more than just marriage if they so choose. To Cressida should have just accepted her fate and married the old dude. To Penelope should have just handed everything over to someone who's bullied her whole life because it's just gossip. She's gone from being a fully fleshed out, rounded, still with faults person to being an absolute women hater. Like she is turned completely and utterly sexist in the season.
And I think a lot of it is because she came out as herself and it didn't go that well. And she's watching all these other people kind of get to do things she wants to do, but she can't figure out how to do it and be herself, that she's holding resentment. She resents Cressida for having influence that she has and having popularity, even though this season it seems like she really doesn't, but that's because of her personality.
Yes.
But she gets away with things.
No, I think it's also because the younger generation is very, but I do actually think that they've made them very Gen Alpha, where they're like, oh, she's still on the marriage march. She is a spinster, like that very judgy, alpha-y kind of vibes coming from those debutantes, the Claras of the debutantes.
Yeah, but I mean, the ridiculousness of that is like a incoming freshman in high school going, what? They're in 11th grade? They're not graduated yet? Oh my God. They got a whole, they got plenty of time.
2 years to go. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, it is ridiculous, but like Eloise, I don't feel like she actually has, like she cannot put herself in someone else's shoes until she is physically put in. She cannot muse out what it would be to be in someone else's position. She physically has to be put in the scenario to know how it feels like being outed in Lady Whistledown, in order for her to feel any sort of empathy for others, because now she's like, oh, well, that's what that feels like. Like, if honestly, if Anthony pulled the move with Eloise as he did with Daphne and is like, that's it, you're marrying Nigel Berbrook, how do you think that would have gone down with Eloise? She would have kicked, she would have screamed, she would have ran. She would have ran. She would have come up with any sort of scheme physically possible under the sun to ensure that was not her fate. And yet her friend is going through it and she's like, oh, that's tough titties, isn't it, mate? Who's here?
And here's the thing. It's not that it's tough titties. It's, I can't handle this right now. I can't be your friend because I'm going through something.
Yeah.
She does not have the spoons when her friends need her, if she's in any way going to be inconvenient.
Yes.
And two,
only when it's convenient for me.
She's already souring. Remember, the last time we saw Eloise prior to the drawing room was down on the floor, worried about Penelope, her hand on her leg. Penelope had just fainted, right?
Yes.
I think she is wanting to repair with Penelope. And she thinks the olive branch to do so for Pen is to completely sever the friendship with Cressida. And I almost feel like Eloise thinks she can't have more than one best friend. So she's got to make Cressida back to be the bad guy so she can do it. And she becomes a complete and utter bee to Cressida.
Oh, is that you, Stephen? Oh, I thought it was my dad getting home. Are you done for the day? Oh, it's 4. Okay, it's 4:43. That makes sense-ish. He's not usually home for another hour. Well, darling, Daddy will... You don't want...
Remind him that he's got to tell Daddy to go get ant bait. That'll...
He's probably on the toilet. Rule 1. Stephen has just walked in the door. He has not walked in the door. He has walked in the toilet door and he does not exist.
Is that where he takes his 5 minutes of transition time?
5 minutes.
Oh,
You are
30 minutes?
hilarious. Have you been married to a man?
Yes. And they all say 5 minutes, and we know it's 30 to 40.
That's I was like, what do you mean 5 minutes, Patty? You're delusional.
They walk in the door, they say, give me 5 minutes, and you don't see them for 40 minutes.
No, I am married to a Stephen. He does not say give me 5 minutes. It is I hear the front door and then I hear the toilet door and I will see him in 30 to 40 minutes. He's like, maybe if I just sneak through and no one knows I'm here, I can get longer.
You know, he doesn't take that long. He's probably looking at videos on his phone. That's what my ex did.
I can hear him laughing. Like, is your poop shape that funny today, sir? Like, come on. Are you making alphabet soup in there? Oh. Man, the potty humor is getting real potty humor today.
You can't make that shape of a letter in a gravy boat.
Gonna be in here. I think I'll look about it like that. Eloise, I think she used Cressida. She never had any true intentions of being a true friend to her. It was only while it was convenient, and now it's no longer convenient, and so she's got the cut. This is when Eloise asks Colin what he is to do about Cressida, and he says that part of him still wants to march to her house with a pitchfork, and that if she still wished him to, he would. I really do think that a big part of his feelings towards Lady Whistledown was part of his
I don't think any of his feelings truly had to do with Marina. I think it had to do with
his family.
Eloise the most, because
that he loves his sister despite all of her faults, and that it killed him to watch her change over this last year due to the repercussions of that article. Like, you know how she talked about how much Colin has changed? I think he's seen this change in his sister, and he's like, this isn't the Eloise I know. She is not vapid. Right. She is not concerned with how she looks. Like, because even her sense of style has changed to being very hyper feminine this season. And not that that's a bad thing. It's just doesn't feel very Eloise-ish with her, with her summer muff.
And he doesn't know that she had a continued relationship with Theo. He is basing his anger on what he thinks are actual lies.
Yes.
And remember at the beginning of the season, Penelope said, oh, she'll just make something up if she doesn't have anything. Eloise is playing it off like it's lies. Colin thinks it's lies. So he's extra angry, but it was actually partial truth. Penelope used the truth. Penelope used the truth, but kept a relationship outside of the tongue secret.
What part of it was lies?
Oh, like there might have been omission. There
might have been some hyperboles in there. Like she might have dramatized the extent of but it very well could have gone that way.
She was spending time with radicals. She went to those lectures.
None of it was a lie.
What I'm saying is the lie is the omission. She did not bring up Theo, and that was to protect her friend. So Penelope lied for her friend by omitting the truth. She wrote
to still protect her not honor,
reputation,
but virtuousness. Yeah.
So she was protecting her friend's rep, but she had to get the queen off of her butt.
Well, you're chatting because Israel's going, bore, bore, bore.
I was choosing to ignore it. My listeners are just going to get chicken sounds in the background this week, free of charge. The video was of Chase. Sorry, I distracted you from that.
My favorite video of Chase, because you're talking about your little chicken. My favorite video of Chase, we had been to see the Muppet movie that had Jason Segel in it. So like that one he
Love
did.
it. Yeah.
And I told I love the Muppets. So we came home and it was around the holidays. So we watched Muppet Christmas Carol.
Mm-hmm.
And that has all of the, like Camilla, all the chickens are in it. So he's talking about how chicken language says things, right?
Yeah.
And he goes, they were like, bok, pick, bok, and his tongue comes out very far, but he's like telling me that bok is pick.
That's precious.
I'll have to find it and send it to you because it's one of my favorites forever and ever and ever.
I love that. It's precious. I don't even remember how we got Ezra just chaos kinged us. I felt like we were actually doing well without the tangents this episode, and then Ezra's just coming and derailed us.
Derailed. No, we were talking about Eloise or Penelope omitted some truth to protect her virtue. But what she said was true because in the queen's interest, if the queen saw what Eloise was doing, the queen would say Eloise was hanging out with radicals because she was going to these women's rights lectures and things like that.
Ever after, wasn't her mum also like a woman's activist, like speaking out for women's rights before she died?
Oh,
Catherine just gave me that vibe. Because if we would have everyone to play like a princess or whatever, Eloise would 1000% be the ever after version of Danielle, Cinderella.
Yeah, Danielle.
Yeah. Or Tangled.
But I kind of see.
But Tangled's a little bit too naive for Eloise.
I kind of see Eloise as
okay, that's another
kind of a mix between Anna and Elsa.
Which I think that's another good YouTubey episode.
I mean, Pen is the Little Mermaid, and I thought about this after we did the costume episode because she almost gave up her voice.
She nearly gave up her voice. Yep, 100%. Okay, there's a little snippet of what will to come in our prince or princess are you? Eloise asks Colin what he will do about Cressida, and he says that, you know, if she wished him to. And I love that. I think that the scene really does prove how much of his angst towards Lady Whistledown is absolutely aimed at the fact of how much it hurt Eloise. Like he at the core of it. Yes, things were said about him. Yes, his whole entire engagement got derailed. I think he has come to terms with the fact that he was saved due to it. So like he's angry at the fact that his choices were stripped away, but he knows ultimately it was a good thing. But Eloise, because he believes it to be a lie, that is where his true anger towards Lady Whistledown lies, in my opinion.
No, I agree. And even like we're not there yet, but the conversation outside the Modiste when he brings up Marina, that has nothing to do with him. It has to do with how loyal he is to family. And Marina was her family, and he needs to know why she outed her own family. Because she championed Marina. And he's like, how can you champion her around me and then write about her kind of like behind her back? That's where he was coming from because he was worried he was bringing somebody into his family that was not loyal to family.
I think we really needed a true repair conversation where they where Eloise also would be present for part of it, where Eloise tells Colin actually what Penelope wrote wasn't a lie, and she confesses to him, because you know how we got that deleted scene? Well, we don't have it, but we know there's a deleted scene where Eloise confides in Benedict about Theo. I feel like that should have actually
to see Theo.
Yes, and I think that conversation should have actually happened with Colin instead, where she confides and says, "This is the truth." Penelope, like, because we know that Eloise does come to realize, "Hey, I stuffed up." Penelope / Lady Whistledown was being me, and so she goes to Colin and says, "Hey, actually, don't be angry at her," because she knows from this conversation right here that Colin's anger is at the fact of Eloise getting so hurt.
Because they've changed Eloise a lot from the book. And the reason I'm saying that, because right now in the timeline we're in right now, Eloise is very much how Eloise is in the books, just a little bit more outspoken.
Yes.
But in the books, like how they have made Eloise now in the show, she cannot have the ending that Eloise had in the book. She can't just be compliant and complacent with becoming a wife and a mother, and that's it. There's going to have to be more.
Joe marching her up just a little bit too much, where the girls just refuse to actually grow up or see things any other way other than how they see things. And they're like, everyone else is wrong.
Yeah. I'm hoping that part of her story, since it can change, is she learns some empathy by staying with Francesca and going through the infertility stuff. I hope she has a little bit of life experience and she learns a little bit about Michaela, so it helps her if she does come to understand Benedict and get to see that side of Benedict to understand that.
I think that the Michaela and Eloise learning is going to be Anne and Aunt Josephine-esque.
Yes. What I hope, though, is that some of this growing, when we get to Eloise's season and she's living out her own life in real time, and she's now faced with these problems that she has to navigate through, I hope she goes to all the people that she judged, because that's basically, she's that person. She judged and then she lived it. She judged and then she lived. I hope she comes back and says, dude, I'm sorry.
I think that I don't know how Anthony's going to react to Michaela and Fran, but I think that Benedict and Eloise are going to be her champions who pave
but
the
I
way.
think he's currently living in the land of the Kama Sutra, so
Yeah, but I think he will probably have the hardest time because he's so rigid in the way things are supposed to be done. So I don't think that any of them would ever disown or be angry at her or anything like that. But I do think that realistically, it's going to take some of them longer than others to come to terms with it. And I think that Violet and Anthony are going to be the ones that they will absolutely get there, but they might need a little bit of time.
Yes.
I think Colin, Eloise, Benedict will absolutely be her champion. So, not to derail this conversation. Okay, so in that moment, Eloise formulates a plan to make Lady Whistledown go away because, like, she is very much speaking in truth. So, I skipped a whole chunk. That's bad. It's
she's speaking in riddles, hieroglyphics.
Yeah, so I think it definitely killed him to see how much she has changed. I don't think he likes this version of Eloise either. She's very hateful. Like, it's not like she changed. Like, people change. People do change and they grow, and that's a good thing. But Eloise has regressed. She did, and she was always judgy. Don't get me wrong, but now she's hateful in her judgment. Beforehand, it was just like kind of cheekily picking on the debutantes and the lords of the town, and like mocking lords without them even realizing that she's mocking them, like poking fun at her siblings. But now it's actually hate. It's hurting people that he loves, and so he's like, "Where is my sister gone? Like, I love my sister, and this isn't her. She is not. Women should be at the beck and call of their husbands. They should just accept their fate to marry old dudes. Like, what is this?
And she's obviously miserable.
Yeah, she is. And that's the thing. Like, if she was happy and she, whatever, I think he would accept it, but he knows that this is not her. Yeah. So Colin then continues and says how falling in love with Penelope has kind of I'm paraphrasing, but like falling in love with Penelope has softened his anger in him though, and how his only concern now is with her well-being and their future together, which is kind of funny considering that at the engagement he was so hard on Lady Whistledown, and now he's like, oh, that old thing. Oh, doesn't matter anymore. I'm like, dude, 1 day ago, 2 days ago, whatever it was, you were like throwing jabs at poor Penelope, saying she was never going to get married. And now you're like, I'm so in love, I don't even care about Lady Whistledown.
I just think that, and this is again kind of the wishy-washiness of the scripting, because this is the second half, and this still made me feel like he knew. So let's rewind and go back in time to past Patty, the first time she saw this scene. So we see Colin at the beginning of this episode go to see Penelope. She's got ink all over her hands. She's obviously nervous. He's very observant. She obviously lied because she's like, oh, letters, right? Then he's broody in the drawing room, thinking hard on something, completely ignoring everybody else almost. Then when Eloise finds him, they're doing a verbal dance. And I saw this as he was trying to get Eloise to confess, because surely if anyone knew, Eloise knew. Because I thought even now he was suspecting that Penelope was Whistledown, and that's why he said he was softening to Whistledown.
He's playing Go Fish and she's playing chess.
Right. But at the time I first saw this, that's how I felt. Like he was trying to see if Eloise knew to confirm his suspicion. And I thought that it was going to come out when he finally saw her hand over something to the printer, that he's going to be like, I knew it. And then it would be not as big of a deal. You get what I'm saying? Like, up until I saw him crying over it, I thought they were playing it up like he figured it out. Because for me, that would have been the biggest sign, because we have all these little signs about how Colin just knew Penelope better than Eloise, because he's been more observant over the years and he's more aware of her than Eloise is. That would have been the best thing, where Eloise never figured out it was Pen, but Colin did. That's what I was waiting for. That confirmation that the reason he elevated to a relationship and, friends to lovers, was because he truly did see her and he truly did observe her. And he truly, he figured something out Eloise couldn't because he was paying attention. And I was very devastated when they didn't play it out that way. Because they didn't, the scripting here, like you said, it's disjointed.
Yeah.
One episode ago, he was, oh, she'll never get married. Da 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 da. Now he's like, well,
he was spiteful, and now he's like,
happenings of late have softened me.
Like, if it had gone from she will never marry, I hate her, she's the worst, to the carriage scene and the mirror scene to this, then I could probably be like, okay, they've solidified, everything has changed.
And personal and what Cressida has done to Penelope, are you going to tell me that he is going to be softened? Because this is now the person.
He hated Cressida outside of being Lady Whistledown.
Right.
But the thought of, and that's why I was like, I can't believe that even after him saying to Penelope, do you really think it's her? I always believed her to be more clever. And now he's like, 100% it is her. Eloise,
and he's not mad?
I cannot believe that the two women that he has hated the most in the ton now coming to the belief that they are the one and same, and he's, oh no, I'm in love, I don't care anymore. When it's specifically, I'm in love, and this is the woman who has terrorized my wife, written that she is a grapefruit. Was it fruit? An overripe
citrus fruit in the book.
Well, I mean, an overripe fruit could very well be a grapefruit, okay? But you know what I'm saying? Like, this is someone who has spoken badly about Penelope. This is someone who has thrown Penelope and her family and their reputation under the bus multiple occasions. And it's the woman that has bullied my wife to be wife for her whole entire life.
Right.
So the two bullies are one and the same. That makes sense because she's always been awful to Penelope, so no wonder she's Lady Whistledown. And but I forgive her because I'm in love. No, if you're in love, you're even angrier that it's the same person.
Yes, which is why this scripting made me think he was thinking it was Penn, because remember episode 1 where he said, after what she did to Marina and to you and our family, she needs to worry. It is her life that will be ruined. He was talking about ruining her life. And now he finds out that person who outed Marina, who in his mind very cruelly, because outed her pregnancy.
I mean, I can understand why he would believe it to be, in fact, Cressida, because Cressida was the one who tried to out Daphne. But then why would Cressida not have put it in Lady Whistledown if she, in fact, were her? She wouldn't have held on to that knowledge. Because you know how she's like, Cressida saw us on the forbidden path. She knows.
Yeah.
Why would she not write it then? Like, Colin really did not do any deep diving on this. It was just all surface feature.
Well, it's not even Colin didn't do deep diving. It's the scripting. The scripting of the show. It does. They do whatever they want for the moment that they want, and they don't think about what has come before. Because true show Colin would be furious.
Make sense. Make it make sense, please, for the love of God.
Show Colin the minute Cressida stood up and said, I am Whistledown, I am she, and Penn faint. What does he think Penn's fainting at that
pregnancy,
point?
I thought.
Cressida Cowper just admitted to being Whistledown and Penn faint.
I thought that he thought it was because she was pregnant, to be honest.
But you got to think about it too. Marina is her cousin. Her biggest bully is...
I still think that he thinks that everything got to 100% just be too much.
Yes. Yeah. I think he believes and knows that Penn is pregnant. But I think there's also optics of what he knows about Cressida and how she has treated Penn. For Penn to react that viscerally after that announcement, there is no way that he wouldn't have walked over to her and said, get out of my house.
And from how Anthony has acted towards Lady Whistledown this entire time, that Anthony was not like, get out of my house or I will throw you out. Because Anthony has always been a big advocate of, she would never be one of us. We're above that. And it's like,
if it happened in my house, I would make sure.
Eloise would 1,675% be applicable of being whistled down. Like,
Mhm.
there's a whole reason why in the book people suspected it was her, because
Right.
she is very much capable of, one, writing that well, and two, I mean, she's not very observant, so I can see why that wouldn't fit. But like,
And honestly, what nobody's thinking is another person that could have been whistled down the whole time
what could have been a
is
team?
Hudson.
Well, she
She's
couldn't
in
have
the
been because
drawing room.
she doesn't go to enough events to have seen things firsthand to get the details that she'd
No,
need.
no, but her entire family sits there talking about shit the next day. Her
Mm.
mother invites Lady Danbury over for tea, and then they have the inside
I
scoop
don't
to the
think
queen.
Despite the money, I don't think anyone would have worked with a 10-year-old girl, because she would have been 10 or younger when it started.
No, but I mean, even Hyacinth makes more sense than Cressida.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so yeah, this is the moment where Eloise kind of formulates the plan to make Lady Whistledown go away, meaning Penelope, but he thinks they're talking about Cressida.
And here's why.
Describe herself.
Here's why Eloise wants to do this. This is her out for repair. If I can keep Colin from finding out, if he thinks it's Cressida, if I can keep Colin from finding out and I can talk Pen into not writing anymore, I get my best friend back. My brother's none the wiser. They get to get married and everyone lives happily ever after. And it's a very naive thought.
But there's no repercussions for anyone involved. Funny that.
And the thing is, like she never has to own any accountability. This is like what I was talking about with my son, where I was talking to Kay about how he thinks like a child, where he thinks about the outcome that he wants, but he still can't problem solve to figure out how to get there. You know how, like, when you talk to kids and they're like, I wish it was like, or this could happen or whatever. It's like, how could it happen? Well, I don't know, but it could, you know, like Eloise just wants everything to be better now.
Yes.
Without doing the work to get it there.
Yeah. And I am absolutely dumbfounded that she is willing to throw a woman's career, because this is what it is. It's bigger than a career. It's an empire that she's built. Realistically,
she's not looking at it like that because she's only writing gossip.
Season 1 and 2, Eloise, as she says in the next scene, very much sees it as an empire. As a woman having created something outside of the bounds of what she was allowed to, it was an empire.
But because it's Pen,
because it's Pen,
and it's her best friend, and she couldn't do it, but Pen did. She has to diminish it because in comparison,
what Penelope says when Eloise finds out is nothing but the truth. The whole truth, and
exactly.
The fact that Eloise is jealous of her success, that you talk, I acted. That is the whole problem.
But also think of Eloise is Colin's sister, and I think that Eloise has always felt like she was Pen's friend, but she was elevating Pen because of Pen's situation. And now she feels less than, like she feels like she doesn't deserve, like she's so much less than Pen now. Like, how does she equal her? They're not equals anymore in Eloise's eyes. So she's doing a very narcissistic thing and diminishing her success to try and keep them on the same level. Because in comparison, she doesn't compare.
I don't think Eloise is even thinking it through. She's pulling a Cressida, and whatever's going to get me to the easiest solution the fastest and with the least amount of damage to me is all I care about. I don't care who else it damages. I don't care if it damages the process. As long as I get what I want, that's all that matters.
Right. I don't think she's thinking it through. I just think when people are in a narcissistic state, which she is currently, this Eloise is very narcissistic and self-serving. Yes. And when a narcissistic person, and not a narcissist, not NPD. We all have narcissism in us. And when we are in a form of survival or in a situation that is not our wheelhouse
norm,
we can become a little more narcissistic. Eloise is very narcissistic here. And it's because she feels out of her element. She wants everything just to go back to normal. Very naively.
She feels out of control.
Yes. And a lot of what you do is off of instinct. Your brain is choosing, honestly, not to think things through. And the easiest thing to do, how do I get Pen and I back on the same level? How do we become equals again so we can be friends? Well, she's already got all this. She needs to not be that anymore.
Yeah.
And the only way I can have her not be that anymore is because obviously I think Eloise, being smart, has figured out that Penelope wanted her to be proud of it. Penelope liked that she liked. So now that if she talks it down, Pen will give it up.
Yeah, because yeah, and you can see just how clever Eloise is, because nothing that she says in this next part is a lie to Colin. She is just warping her truths to match what he thinks he is hearing. And it sort of reminded
her words
me
very carefully.
You know what? I don't know if anyone else has ever watched the TV series Shadowhunters. That was originally a book series, which I loved the books TV series. So I don't know whether this is a lore thing or just in this book thing, but fairies cannot lie. But it means that they are very, very good at saying selective truth.
Yes.
And yeah, Eloise is definitely mastering the art of a selective truth right now.
Well, her and Colin are masters at it, because we'll get into it later how Colin protects Penelope without lying to his family.
Yes.
How he chooses to do it. He kind of does the trickery. Like, he feels kind of Rumpelstiltskin-y to me, where he's dancing around the truth.
Yeah.
Eloise is more like, she's very calculated in the words she chooses. You can tell she's also
you can tell she's
writer.
a little bit proud of you can tell she's a little bit proud of how she's wording everything. Like, oh, like it's those moments where we like say or do things and we're like, that was so good, like, and you're like,
that's such a great way to say it. Yes.
Yeah. And then she's like, I'm so clever and no one can appreciate it but me. That's a bit sad.
Right.
No one can see my genius. No, we can only see your bitch.
Right. Right now, Eloise, we are seeing you and we're not happy about it.
Yeah. What you think we're seeing and what we're seeing are two different things. Right. All right. Shall we move on to the Penelope's portion of the podcast?
Yes. Well, I will say the last look on Colin's face when she says she's going to go fix it. She's going to go talk to Scribe herself.
Yeah.
That's the moment he fully believes that Eloise is not only supporting him, but also Penelope, which she is, because ultimately what she wants to do is make a way for them to be together, because she thinks if he finds out she's Whistledown, they won't be anymore.
Well, and I feel like she even thinks that she is in this moment. I think that she's like, I want to get back to good with Penelope. Like, I know I pushed it too far. I want things to be good. She is going to be my sister. And I did love her.
Colin sees it, because the look on his face is like, finally, and he smiles. He's like, she's supportive of it. Yes. Everyone, he has the blessing of everyone now. And he'd been waiting.
Well, and he doesn't feel like she's going to bat Cressida for him. He feels like she's going to go bat Cressida for Penelope. So he's like, not only has she forgiven Penelope for whatever the squabble was over, but to the point that she's now even defending her. Okay, they really are good.
Yeah. Yes.
So I do feel for him that it's not as it seems. I'm gonna get real ragey in this next portion because
I have a few things.
I have a few things. Yeah, I have more than a few. How many on my fingers is from Michael? 10. Eloise is a terrible woman's advocate in this whole next portion. I kind of love that we get same scene, because the last scene starts with Colin sitting editing his work. Eloise comes in, makes some sort of repair. This one, Penelope is sitting editing her work. Eloise comes in, attempts repair for, I guess, Colin. Same but different.
Well, except Colin doesn't try to hide his work. Penelope panics because she doesn't know who's walking in. Like, oh my God, I'm spread out. Somebody's going to find me out. Like, she was panicked.
I think Penelope is super duper deep into her anxiety fight or flight mode at the moment. And I also think that's a big portion as why she hasn't left her room, is I think she is in a very manic kind of state. And manic doesn't mean that you have mental health issues. It just, people who don't suffer from mental health issues, I think, can go through stages of mania where...
I don't think she's manic. I think she's in survival mode. And when you're in survival mode, you want to be where you feel safe. And that room is the only place she feels.
Until Eloise goes on. Manic is just an adjective describing a state of abnormally elevated energy, mood, and activity. Often a key feature of bipolar disorder, characterized by symptoms like extreme happiness, irritability, reduced need for sleep, racing thoughts, rapid speech, grandiosity, impulsivity, risky behavior, lasting at least a week or significantly disrupting daily life. So although she doesn't have that side of it, she has the anxiety side of it. But like,
well, I feel like she's acting like a person who has CPTSD.
yes,
And
yes, very
when
much.
you feel triggered, feel unsafe, you tend to isolate.
Mhm.
And
but you could even tell the way
only-
that she was writing. She's like, like
because
it's very
and that's
panicked.
it's because she knows she needs to get it out soon, because she, in her head, Cressida's only told people she's whistled down. She thinks she's in a race now to beat Cressida to an issue. Because
But we know
if Cressida writes an issue, Cressida will be cemented as Whistledown. Penelope cannot even imagine Cressida will write a shitty one.
But we know that whenever Penelope writes in these states, because we have seen her write in this state on 3 occasions now. The Marina episode, the Colin,
engagement one was fast. She forgot to mention the Queen.
The Colin saying he'd never dreamed caught Penelope Featherington. That was also like a very emotionally driven, rushed, written one. And then the engagement, and now this one. And every single time that she has gone in these, and that's why I call it manic, because it does take her out of her personality, in my belief, where it's very at the far reaches of her personality. Very Portia-esque, the way that she writes when she's in these states.
Because she's in survival mode.
In survival mode, exactly.
She is trying to come up with the right words, the perfect words to fix a situation. And in this case, honestly, the only thing Eloise says that makes sense to me is let Cressida write an issue, because it will suck. And then everyone will know it's not her. You know, like if Penn just took 10 deep breaths and waited it out, nobody would believe it was Cressida.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody knew what was going on with her mother and everything. You know what I mean? But
yeah, but like, I think when you're so deep in it, you can't, when you're that deep in anxiety, and this is why as teachers,
I think
we are
her
taught,
pregnancy hormones are elevated.
Yes. Yeah. Like, and as teachers, we are taught very much when your students are at that peak level of anxiety or whatever feeling it is that they're going through, do not try repair at that point, because you cannot. You need to get them from at the top of the hill down off that ledge, and then do the repair after the fact, not during it, because when someone's in it, and I feel like Eloise in this scene just pushes that boulder further up the hill. There was no bringing her down off it.
No, she was telling her that her life's work, what she'd been working on for 3 years, her whole, we'll say adult life, because ever since she's been out, right? Her whole adult life, what she's been working on and building, Eloise says it's just gossip.
It's
like,
nothing.
Just stomped on it.
Yeah.
You should be able to give this up. This is not important.
Yeah. And I feel like it would be like if someone came along to us, and I mean, granted, we don't have anywhere near the reach of Lady Whistledown, but if someone came along to us and just said, oh, well, you can give it up, it's not important, when it's something that we've worked on for 1.5 years, it's our heart and soul. We put so much time and effort into it.
It's just a podcast about Bridgerton.
And this is something that society does often to art. We do not value art the way that we do a doctor, a lawyer, a economicist. Jesus, tough.
Economist.
2 coffees deep. You know, there is definitely things in life that we value more, and it's not to say that you compare one to the other because it's apples and oranges, but people do definitely like to put down the art and devalue.
But I also think people like to put down what they don't know. And Eloise does not understand the power of gossip as connection, as verbal language, as communication, because it isn't highly elevated speech or whatnot, you know. So she's looking down on it. She doesn't understand
but it. Actually,
but she doesn't understand society, because it's something she's not comfortable with. In Eloise's world, it's not important, and there are a lot of people in the world like that. That like, well, like, you know, when I was telling you about Dude and his music, I don't know jack about about EDM and electronica and whatever it is he does. Like, I have
clearly you've never dated a DJ.
No.
No, I won't say that.
But
my first boyfriend was a DJ, and big regrets.
Yeah, I don't have any clue about his music. I don't know what makes it good. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, it's not something that I'm drawn to, but I love watching him and Kay be so excited about his growth and what they're finding successful. And like, I love watching people be excited about something they're excited about. I don't
and something
have
that they've
to know.
created and proud of.
Yeah, I don't have to know. But some people out there, because
you don't need to understand to support.
They're so worried about getting put on the spot. Like, I am not afraid to say, I don't know jack about what you do. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't come at me for my opinion. I'm not the person to get an opinion from.
In all fairness, are you really friends with someone if you know what they do for a job? When people ask me, what does Patty do for a job? And I'm like, data entry. And they're like, for what? And I'm like, on a computer. They're like, anything else? I'm like, she uses Excel spreadsheet.
That I don't
Is that enough? Is that... I'm like, is that enough information? Like, okay. No, what do you want from me here?
I work in workforce management. We're not supposed to do as much. We make sure we have enough people at the time, because I work for a call center. So, I mean, in workforce management can overlap many industries. It can be manufacturing, factories, it can be anything. But I basically help plan the staffing so that we have enough people at the time when we have the volume of business, calls in, calls out, whatever that we have. So it's a juggling act, and
so you
nothing
don't work
but
for the
time
call center.
management.
You work to people manage the call center.
Yeah, we do the scheduling. Okay. We update the schedules. Like, if somebody decides somebody needs a meeting so that it's not out of adherence, we update that. That's the data entry part. But we do, like, we're currently, because we have new leaders, we're currently looking at capacity planning and are we actually overstaffing? So it's workforce management. It's exactly what it sounds like. Yeah. We manage the workforce to make sure we have the number of people correctly. We need to have when we need to have it. Yeah.
But I'm like, Excel, call center.
Just I actually work with Excel. I have worked with Power BI. I have not created.
But I feel like Anthony just throwing out keywords, but not
Excel.
Actually knowing.
Teams meeting.
Yeah, I'm like, I didn't say that. I was like, she uses Teams. That was my other part. I was like, she uses Teams. Excel. What do you want from me?
Yeah, we're not supposed to be data entry, but it's what it feels like some days.
Yeah.
Felt, yes. So now everybody knows, and they don't have to ask you anymore.
Yeah. I can just like go to episode 3674 and go to
our New Year's 32. Episode, the first episode of 2026. Patty explains her job.
Patty explains her job. I'll put it into a YouTube short, so I'm like, go to the YouTube app. It explains it all. Okay, so Penelope was already on massively high alert, strung out and seeming super anxious when she says to Eloise, going to tell him. Eloise kind of snarkily says, but you did not. And then she sort of softens, because I think she realized, hey, I've gone in a little bit too strong. I'm here for repair. Okay, go in, lower the decibels, soften the face, soften the features. We're not angry. We're just disappointed.
And I think she's trying, because she has, I don't want to use the word manipulated, but it's kind of like, because I don't see her so much as bullying Pen over the years as manipulating her, because she understands that Penelope is a people pleaser, wants to be her friend.
Yeah.
So she has naturally gotten her way.
You know how they say when you get into a relationship, and I think that this applies to any sort of relationship, whether it be a family, romantic friendship, child, parent, when you get into a relationship, the way that it kind of starts often sets the tone for the entirety of the relationship. How you deal with your first few arguments, your synapses get created, and it sets the tone. And I think for Eloise, Penelope was such and I can imagine that this is the extroverted version of Penelope. I think that the younger she was, the more, before she knew Eloise, I think she would have been so introverted. And I think Eloise has brought her out of her shell somewhat, and being around the Bridgertons. But I think that Eloise got to know Penelope in a time that Penelope did not stand up for herself in the slightest, and it set the tone for the entirety of the relationship, where even when Penelope did start coming into her own, she's like, oh, well, this is kind of how our whole entire friendship has already played out, and therefore that's just the way it is, and there's nothing I can do about it. So I don't see it so much as Eloise having manipulated, but Eloise took advantage of the
advantage.
fact, yeah, unintentionally. It was just sometimes when you fall into complacency in your relationships and don't realize that they need constant work, whether it's a friendship, a parent-child, a romantic relationship, all relationships need attention and they need adjusting as you both grow.
Yep.
And I think that Penelope did and Eloise didn't, and now she's learning the consequences of that. So so Eloise comes in a little bit hot, and then she reminds herself, no, I'm here for repair. And then she softens her voice as she says, and when the time came, neither did I. As she sighs, like, I admit defeat. I see why you didn't tell him. I know how much it would hurt him. Like, I see your side. I didn't want to see.
Penelope's side was not about hurting Colin. It was about saving her marriage.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, prior to finding out he loved her, it was plausible deniability, right? We know what the queen would do or how the queen would react. Well, we thought we did.
You said
Lady
before
Danbury's
that
interference.
You said before that Eloise's line was like the most manipulative that you've heard. This one is what takes the cake for me. I don't think I've heard a crueler sentence come out of Eloise's mouth, because beforehand she had the plausibility that she didn't know exactly how Colin felt, but now she does.
She does.
And she says, for whatever reason, my brother truly believes that he loves you, as if Eloise could not fathom a reason that he would love Penelope Featherington. That's how it feels like. And I can imagine that's very much how Penelope heard it, because Penelope has had this voice in her head her whole entire life of everyone telling her, you are not good enough for him. You are not good enough for anyone.
Yes, but honestly, I don't think Eloise has given two brain cells to think about whether Penelope was good enough for Colin or not. I think her struggle is the fact that she's her best friend and that's my brother. And that's where she still is. Like, he couldn't possibly love you like that because he's my brother and you're my best friend. Therefore, to Eloise, it's incest, right?
Yeah.
So
it just seems so cruel. And
the wording is terrible. Yes.
It was terrible. He believes himself to be in love. And that kind of harkened back to the how much I believed myself to be, how in love I believed myself to be. Like, as if,
and her saying, you believed yourself in love, so blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Exactly. So it harkens back to Marina of, well, he believed he was in love with Marina too. So I don't truly believe it yet, because he believed it once and then realized it wasn't love. So maybe this is that again.
Yeah.
There's some sort of deniability because of the Marina situation.
But again, as we've talked about her being Josephine March and she is Peter Panning it and she doesn't want to grow up. She also doesn't want Penelope to grow up either.
No.
And that's their issue. Penelope's growing up and Penelope wants adult things and she doesn't. And she doesn't.
Penelope growing up forces her to acknowledge that we're the same age. And if you are, then it's my turn to as well.
Yeah.
And this is when she continues. And if he knew all along, it was you writing about me. Again, it is all about Eloise. Our family, Marina. Excuse me? What? Ugh! If you knew how long I have kept the secret from him. Again. Hi, narcissism. My name's Tash. Literally, this entire sentence is all about how it's going to affect her, how his anger is going to affect her, what outcome is it for her, not I care about my brother and his feelings and I don't want him to get hurt. She is masquerading herself as a caring sister whilst actually just giving a crap about herself and no one else in this scenario.
I just want to say something real quick too, because the way that sentence was. I've been seeing TikToks. There is a faction of people, or it's all the same person out there who has multiple TikToks because it's different TikTok handles, but they're very angry about they're explaining why Colin and Penn did not get a season and different things, and that they were disrespected and different things. Well, and I've said before that I think that, the story was plugged into AI and they asked AI to write the script. And here's my marketing PR. People will tell you it doesn't have to be the truth. As long as you say it multiple times, people will believe it. Because even in training, when you're training someone, you have to say something 4 times before their brain even acknowledges it. They never talk about Colin's feelings about Lady Whistledown without saying how she's talked about me, Eloise, our family, Marina, It's always those three things. Every sentence in every script, in every scene where it talks about Colin's feelings about Whistledown, those three things are mentioned. And no,
Eloise isn't even considering, hey, you talked
fence.
about yourself badly.
Yeah. The first person that even says what you've said about yourself is Portia.
Yeah.
But my issue here is every single time somebody talks about Colin, they're not going to always bring up the three things. And in this very selfish conversation, Eloise is focusing on herself, but she also rattles off the three things. I think that because they manufactured, because that's what this TikTok said, Colin season 1, Colin season 2 was not mad at Whistledown. He barely registered Whistledown. And now all of a sudden in season 3, he is in a rage over Whistledown. They created the anger to create a more enemies to lovers than friends to lovers because they made him mad at who we know Penn to be, right?
Yeah.
Because they don't know how to write friends to lovers. It's obvious. Nicola and Luke know how to play friends to lovers, and that's what made it work. So I think that because they always talk about those three things in that, I mean, I would go back and count it. Like every time they mention it, I think Eloise here would say, if he knew it was you saying those things about me, because that's more Penelope Eloise centric
about
in our conversation. Like it would be like, sure, you said shit about Marina, but would I bring it up if I'm talking about you and me? If it's you and me having a conversation and I'm worried about me, be like, if Colin knew what you said about me, he would be furious. He would be devastated.
I think she's trying to list off grievances to try and strengthen her argument.
Exactly. Jess Brownell listed off these three things in every single scene to make it believable, but it's not. Colin was never mad at Whistledown. They manufactured the anger to create drama for this.
Can I just say, as Colin's sister, who was about to be trapped into a fake marriage, a marriage of convenience that he had no idea that he thought was a marriage of love, that Penelope saved him from. I'm sorry, but no, Eloise is indignant enough that she would have hated Marina for what she had done to Colin. Like, yes, there is the part of her that's like, you know, women do what women have to do because of the way that society has treated us and the you know, the corner we've been backed into, you know, she's a little bit Portia in that regard. But I do not, but from a sister's perspective, I don't think for a second that she would have ever been okay if it had come out what Marina had done and he'd married her. She would never forgive that woman for that grievance. She holds onto a grudge like no one's business. So for the fact that Eloise is bringing up Marina when actually that is a clear point of the good that Penelope can do with Lady Whistledown, not a con. I'm like, why are you mixing up your Collins here?
Marina has been writing Eloise, so she is also getting a narrative from Marina.
Yeah, but still, like, I think Marina knows that things played out the way that they probably should have and that she was doing the wrong thing.
Yeah, I think she knew that because of the way she talked to Colin, because she could have let Colin walk out of there just feeling rejected again in her mind because she thought he was there to save her and take her away from that. I don't think he was.
No.
So she could have let him walk away, believing he would feel rejected again because she's hurt. But she didn't. She threw him a bone and she let him know that there's somebody that worships the ground he walks on and led him down that path. So I don't think Marina
I don't think that Marina would have felt any sort of anger towards Penelope.
Animosity at all. Yeah.
No, because I think that Marina actually, when she's out of the fight or flight mode, right? Because she's not in fight or flight at the moment that we know of. Like, she is somewhat, to some degree, settled in her life.
She's in some kind of mode coming up soon.
Not swimming mode, that's for sure. I actually think that if she found out that that Penelope was Lady Whistledown, I think she would have been like, makes sense, and I actually probably deserved it. Things played out the way that they needed to, and I don't think they could have ever done that to Colin. Like, he is a good man. I understand it. Like, she wouldn't be happy about it, but she'd understand it. So I actually don't think that Marina would ever be writing Eloise to be like, I can't believe Lady Whistledown did this to me. Look at my life now. Oh, it's so awful. I could have been a poor orphaned lady on the side of the street with my children, not even being able to afford to eat. They're having to scavenge. I'm having to sell my body to feed them.
I don't think she's necessarily talking negatively about Whistledown, but we also know that she suffers from depression. And I think that unless Eloise created a truly safe space, which we know Eloise kind of doesn't.
Not her strong suit. I feel like she's better at it in writing.
Maybe. But I think that Marina would also kind of write how she wants things to go rather than how they actually are in a way. Like, I just think I think she'd lament George the most. Like,
but there was no acknowledgement that Penelope saved Marina at a great cost to herself, to her family, because no, that doesn't affect Eloise land.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't just
there's definite things that need to be discussed. Like, come on, I know season 4's in the can, and do I think you've completely learned enough to give all of these things? No, they're followed the book, so there's nothing to really go off of, because Colin and Penn's book hasn't even happened yet in the book world. So if you match the book, we're not going to get our answers for this stuff. But come Eloise's season, we better see some growth, and we better see Eloise go, I acknowledge what you did for my family. I acknowledge what you did.
Well, and I think we will, because obviously she's going to go live in Marina's shoes, as you would say, that she will have to, she'll be faced with Penelope's choices and how they led to be. And I don't think that they're going to play it as a suicide. I think it's going to be an accident, an accidental drowning, or
that's
hypothermia.
When I said, oh, I wonder. We never know. It could be that they make it be like Marina never learned.
Well, and that's the thing, because I think that if they play it out as a suicide now, that will only ever feed into Colin and Eloise's animosity towards Lady Whistledown. And yes, you did this to save me, but look at the cost.
The fans that thought that Marina actually loved Colin, and that was a good match, that would feed into their thing, like she died of a broken heart.
The same delusional people that think that Sienna was a better match than Kate. Get out of here. Get out of here.
I wonder if there's a small percentage somewhere out there that was like, what's so wrong with
Berbrook? He'd loved her for so long, since she was a child, in fact. Like, that sort of love should be, that kind of devotion should
Why is everybody championing Penelope for loving Colin for so long, and she gets her man, but why didn't Berbrook get the girl he'd been pining for forever?
Since I was in school.
P.S. For those who didn't recognize it, that was sarcasm.
Oh, Lord. Okay, so Eloise, woman's activist Eloise. Women have no power and are just wives to men. Eloise is now telling Penelope, why tell him when the better thing for you to do is to put down your pen? Despite knowing that Cressida has put what Cressida has put Penelope through, she's really suggesting to actually use Cressida as an out. And whether or not she does go on to say about how Cressida will make a fool of herself, but even just the suggestion of letting Cressida take her credit in any form, I think she does not understand, because she's never had anything for her to be taken away. Like, I mean, obviously she's got a lot, but you know what I mean? Like,
I know this is from our last episode, or the episode that dropped yesterday. But I had the end of that scene up when I started watching for research for today. And I just want to bring this up. Penelope is a Bridgerton. Like, she's always been a Bridgerton. She is a Bridgerton. She sees things from the Bridgerton point of view, because I would like you to tell me, when has Cressida ever taken that which is not hers in the past? The prince ends up starting to show her attention, and then Daphne does what she does. So Cressida loses the prince.
Yeah.
And the prince did not have, he wasn't branded, right? And he was actually showing her attention really kind of first, because Daphne was already with Simon.
Yeah, Simon.
In the Tun's eyes. And then in season 2, the parents were pairing them together, her and Jack. She wasn't trying to take anything. She was trying to get married. And her parents were like, ooh, Jack's a good catch. You're still in the Tun, whatever. She wasn't trying to take anything that which was not hers. And then Debling was, yes, she spent that time competing against Cressida, but Debling was not hers, and she didn't even want Debling. So how can she view what Cressida was doing as taking that which is not hers? She says it about Whistledown. That is true. But her statement makes it sound like Cressida does this all the time, and it's never happened. Yet because she's Whistledown and she's reported this stuff, and she loves the Bridgertons and is part of the family, she has viewed everything Cressida has done as Cressida trying to take something that belonged to a Bridgerton.
I view it as Penelope saying that Cressida has taken away a life that she could have had if. So it's kind of the what do you call it? The not
she says
group
it's
effect.
just like Cressida to take that which is not hers, like
Not
it
hers.
happens all the time, and it just doesn't.
No. But what do you call it? Not the group effect, like where people tend to go, and they studied it with Germany, with Hitler, about how like if the masses are all going one way, people tend to follow like sheep and go with the herd rather than going against the herd because it's much harder. Yeah. So when Cressida, who had a whole herd, was mean to Penelope, the herd went with it. And so Penelope feels like a life that she could have had, not a popularity, but like
opportunity.
Not,
I'll say opportunity.
Yeah.
Opportunities she could have had were taken from her as well.
An
yes,
ease,
I see that.
An ease and peace in the ton. So I will give her that much, that she definitely made her life hell. And she definitely encouraged others to treat Penelope poorly through her own actions.
Right. And I agree. And that all has to do with Penelope, but Penelope makes it sound like a universal truth.
I know, yeah.
And it's not. And now
so
here's Eloise.
The fact that Eloise is now saying that, like, if you just let her take it, like, she'll put out one article and you're going to tell it's not her. The fact that she calls Cressida's scheme harebrained. Like, I know that Eloise is a blunt character, but she really is a terrible friend to Cressida and only ever used her to fill the void, because that is not something, like, no matter how you feel about your friends, like, we all know our friends' strengths and weaknesses. Hi, little sausage. You hurt your leg. How did you do that? Take it to daddy. Daddy, you asked daddy to open it up. The fact, like, no matter, we all know our friends' strengths and weaknesses, but we don't use those against them to belittle them. So even though that you know that your strength is intelligence, you would never be like, oh, like this friend of mine is so harebrained. Like, that is not something that you say about your friends. And it kind of leads me to believe that she was never truly a friend to Cressida and was just using her to fill the void that Penelope left. Like, this was just a placeholder until you got back. See, I kept your place warm.
In the matter of the same day, considering she used the word caper, which is a ridiculous activity.
Yeah.
She is telling us that she thinks Cressida is ridiculous.
Yes.
Is harebrained, like not smart. And she did pretty much condescend to her at the engagement party. Like, you'll never find her.
It's super snooty. It's super snooty. Like, Eloise is being super snooty. Like, oh.
And her walking in when Penn said, I was going to tell him. And she said, but you didn't, is also condescending, because she also didn't, but she needed Penn in a certain place to maintain her power in this conversation.
In that room. Yes. Yeah. Very, very much. This is when she tells Penelope that she cannot be both Lady Whistledown and a Bridgerton. Like, as if Penelope, let's muse this out here. If before all this went down, if before Penelope had written the article about Eloise, if Penelope had come to Eloise in season 1 and said, hey, I'm Lady Whistledown, do you want to co-write with me? She would have jumped at that opportunity, as if you can't be a Bridgerton and Lady Whistledown, because Bridgertons are above that kind of thing. We are elevated in society. We would never lower ourselves to such a gossip magazine.
But I think she was saying you can't be both, because she's following society's thing of women can't work, married women can't work. I
don't think it's that at all. I think she's just saying it will have repercussions for my family. I
think that was a foreshadowing, a little bit of an Easter egg to her becoming a Bridgerton in her writing at the end of the series. This
is just another hypocritical thing to me, because I feel like this statement was very much, your actions will have repercussions for my family, and if your name is Bridgerton, you are going to taint us all. As if she didn't just spend the last season tainting her entire family by going to radical movements and by seeing a man that was not in the ton.
Right.
Hypocrite.
Oh, I'm not saying she's not a hypocrite.
Like,
very much so.
It's just, it frustrates me so much that she is acting now that she's above everyone else.
Sentence, and again, because Eloise is a very intelligent person. Yes. Eloise is good with her words. Eloise is
very smart, book smart.
Eloise just did verbal gymnastics around Colin to make sure she was telling the truth and not lying but not giving away anything. And then here she says a line that says, you know, what she did at last night.
Yeah.
That is not proper grammar.
What my brain intends to say and the words that actually come out quite often are not in line. That's
what I'm saying. You watch this woman just do verbal gymnastics with her brother so that she's still good and can tell him, I did not lie to you, but not reveal her hand at all. And here she's going to give some really bad grammar and use a preposition in a really wrong place.
This is when Penelope says,
it's sloppy writing.
I agree.
They wanted a foreshadow that they were going to, because they were going to keep Whistledown. They wanted a foreshadow that they were going to let her, she was now going to sign her columns Bridgerton.
So Penelope says, and this is such a raw moment, for much of my life, being a part of your family is all that I wanted. And Eloise replies, and there was a time in my life that I would have given anything to know Lady Whistledown. You had a good run for a while, but it's just gossip. Trinicate expletives.
And no offense, Eloise, trying to relate. Like, I love this moment because they are trying to come back to good. You know what I mean? They're trying to be
very, very much.
They're trying to be vulnerable with each other. However, Penelope spending most of her life wanting to be part of the Bridgerton family.
10 more minutes, I'm done. Yes. Okay, repeat your last line so I can remove out the last bit of the boys screaming.
Eloise saying, there was a time that I would have given anything to know Lady Whistledown is not the same as Penelope saying, for most of my life, much of my life, all I wanted was to be a part of your family.
Yeah.
Like, Eloise, you know Lady Whistledown now. Maybe you don't want to know her now for whatever reason. I think she's glad she knows Whistledown. I just think she's mad that it Pen, like, and not her, because now she can see that it could have been her if she would have thought of it. Yeah.
But Colin's sad. Penelope's line, for much of my life, being part of your family is all I wanted, felt like not an olive branch per se, but a reconnect branch. Like, for a long time in my life, all I ever dreamed of was being part of your family. But then I made something for myself. Like, that wasn't possible. I didn't think that was possible. I didn't think that Colin would ever love me. I didn't think that being part of your family was achievable. I wanted nothing else but that until I created for something for myself. And now I have the opportunity to do both and be both.
And this felt more real to me than her line in part. He says, he was just a silly whatever that grew into something more. She's admitting here, not just that she's loved Colin all this time and she wanted to be his wife, but she also wanted to be Eloise's sister. Because in a lot, and I'll say in some friends to lovers, and best friends always want to be sisters. Best girlfriends tell me not true or true. Always want to be sisters. Yeah. And my best friend, Carol Lee, told us, and this is how I know, like, she's my Eloise, because she told me I had to like one of her brothers so that someday we could get married and then we would be sisters.
No good options to be found.
I crushed on this dude for a year and a half before he actually said he would go with me. Actually, I said, do you want to go with me? And he said, don't blurt it out. It was a secret. But that afternoon, because it was Easter, we went to church. That afternoon, we go for a walk up the road, just him and me, and he tries to kiss me and his breath smells like dog food and I can't do it. That ended that dream. But my friend and I are sisters. Like, her kids are my nieces and nephews. Like,
You're just Auntie Patty.
I did not need to marry her brother. Thank God.
I mean, I wouldn't sell you off to my brother. We can just we're good.
Like, she seriously was like, you are going to like this brother and you are going to like this brother and you're both going to marry them someday and we're going to be sisters. Because my sister and me and her were all friends. Well, I mean, I was sisters with my sister, but we were a little club.
Sisters with your sister. Wow. Mindy, I had no idea.
She and I weren't. we weren't friends, we were sisters, but our little threesome, like we had a little singing group and everything. Yeah. So she's like, okay, Mindy, you're gonna marry this brother and you're gonna marry this. Like she told me, and I wanted to be her. And honestly, I can't say now, like I wanted to be your friend so bad that I did it. I think that because of my ADHD, it was power suggestion. I'd never really crushed on anybody yet. I didn't think like that. And then having somebody that I think it's a rite of passage.
I think it's a rite of passage to crush on your best friend's sibling.
But I also think for me, I would have never thought about it, except it was power suggestion. But I also would have never thought about crushing on anybody then without the power of suggestion.
I need to do bedtime routine. So let's go back to the point. So the second line where Eloise replies, and there was a time in my life that I would have given anything to know Lady Whistledown. Like, firstly, it feels like she is acknowledging what Penelope says while saying, I never felt the same, which is a lie because we know it. And Colin stated it to her. You would have given anything to be Penelope's sister.
Yep.
So she's trying to distance herself in that regard. I acknowledge you said something, but I'm going to say something else to get it away from the emotions because I don't do emotion. And
but
so
it's
she's
still
like,
Penelope related. Yeah.
It's still Penelope related. Yes. And she's saying, and I would have given, anything to know Lady Whistledown. But then I knew Lady Whistledown and it wasn't all it was cracked out to be.
Yeah.
And that's what it feels like. It feels like I revered you until I felt like what it was to be in it. And now I think it's terrible because I don't think
she'd I also think Eloise is kind of telling her being a Bridgerton is not all it's cracked up to.
Yes, that as well. But the line, you had a good run for a while, again, is diminishing what it is. Whistledown is an empire.
Yeah, like a quit while you're ahead.
This is the equivalent of being the CEO of Vogue. This is Anna Wintour levels of notoriety and having built something from the ground up to lovely. Stephen's nan just messaged me. She's so cute. I asked her if she had any books for Ezra to read while we're up there because you don't want to pack 3,000 things. And she goes, we'll sort all that for you. It's a countdown now. Christmas is nearly here. Don't bring a dressing gown, towels, as we have all the things you can use. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 kisses. She's so cute. 6. I love Nan. She's the most nanny nan in the world. She knits and sews and made Ezra quilts when he was born and all the things. Had a good run. Fuck you. Honestly, I wasn't gonna swear that bad, but fuck you, bitch.
I know.
I tried so hard to get so far into this episode, but I was like, you know what? The audacity is just too much for me. My audacity meter has blown the top, and yeah, I'm pissed. I'm not happy one little bit.
If you have a friend like Eloise Bridgerton, who needs
you don't
enemies?
have a friend. You don't have a friend. She is absolutely 101 on manipulation right here of how to put down something to get what you want.
Yeah.
And
she's making sure she diminishes Penelope. And she really starts the crash out, the spiral of Penelope not feeling like she deserves Colin, not feeling like she can be a good wife to him because she doesn't want to give up this thing that Eloise says is just gossip.
I have so many feelings. And honestly, who is writing Eloise this season? Who was given this job? Because I have a burning hand that needs releasing because this is not Eloise.
The people,
she is blunt, but
I think didn't we say there's only one repeat writer from last season? Everybody else, aside from Jess Brownell, but she's the showrunner. But
even Claudia Jessie hated playing out these scenes with Penelope because she's like, I love Nicola, and to speak to her so cruelly, like I think when people like method act and you become the character.
They loved their fight at the end of season 2, but I think season 3 was hard.
It was hard because one fight, that's what sisters do, but this is cruel. This is manipulation and it is cruelty. And this actually makes me feel like Violet should have been having this conversation with Eloise as much as Colin. Don't let the armor rust. You have put on armor this season. If it rusts, you cannot come back from the person that you are being right now. Colin's armor was sleeping around and flirting with girls. Those were all things that he could have come back from. Turning onto a nasty person, manipulating your friends and your family, That is so far past anything that Colin did. And I do not understand why Violet has not intervened up until this point, because actually the person that Eloise has become in this season is nasty.
Very mean girl.
Very mean girl. Like,
but it's also
honestly, what Cressida says, like, put a mirror to your own face, girl. Like, absolutely true. Cressida says things as they are, and they are mean, but they are not.
But it also fits the old adage
manipulative.
that you kind of become the people you surround yourself with. And
Yes.
Eloise was Eloise because she was surrounded with Penelope, who has a lot of the same ideals as her. Maybe she's not as outspoken, but she has a lot of the same ideals, and they speak very freely with each other. And now she's hanging out with Cressida, and some of that's just rubbing off.
Yeah. The worst part of Cressida and the worst part of like, the funny thing is Cressida kind of took the best parts of Eloise.
Yes.
And Eloise took the worst parts of Cressida. But honestly, I'm so mad as to what they have turned her into this season, because I actually really like Eloise's core character. And I feel like she is very, very far straying from her core this season, that it doesn't even feel like her anymore. Like, she's going to pick on Colin for like, who even are you? Who even is this person? Whilst being Jekyll and Hyde. Are you kidding me?
Right.
So you're welcome, Sarah. We have finally hit our maximum of Eloise's behavior.
Sarah will be sending her feedback going, my favorite episode.
I'm gonna have flowers arrive at my door being like, finally.
We said we'd get here. We just
I wanted to live in the honeymoon for a little. I wanted to live in the honeymoon a little bit longer. Okay, for today, gentle listeners, we will leave it there and continue on next week's episode. We, at this point, when this drops, will be 3 or 4 episodes. No.
Happy 2026.
No, we will be 3 or 4 episodes. We don't count in years anymore, Patty. We count in seasons, okay? We will be 3 or 4 episodes away from season 4, which is you. We still have not figured out how we're going to get through.
We're not. We're going to finish episode 6. We're going to finish the whistle down reveal right before season 4 starts, I have a feeling. Episode 6 will be done. We can finish episode 6 in 4 episodes.
You're hilarious. You're so if you have anything in particular you would like to share, or any Bridgerton knowledge, please head to our Facebook page, The Ladies Bridgerton. And if you are enjoying our podcast, please remember to click like, subscribe, and leave comments wherever you are listening. Sharing also helps us a great deal.
And once again, thank you for listening to the musings of 2 mad women.
You can't see it, but we're making mean symbols to each other. Loser.
Whatever.
Yours truly, Lady Patty.
And Tosh the Kiwi.
Oh, lordy lord. I'm like, why am I Lady